Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the BAHCO BB0168-NRP 5x4.5 inch full mortise heavyweight ball bearing non-removable pin hinge. So BAHCO is an acronym for the manufacturer or the supplier, Boston Architectural Hinge Company. The BB stands for the fact that this is a ball bearing hinge. There's 4 bearing packets there, as you can see. All right. The 0168 is a reference to a couple of things. First of all, that it's a steel base hinge. This is made of steel. And that it's heavyweight, meaning that the leaf thickness is 190 thousandths thick. You can kind of see that leaf thickness, and it, you know, just in relationship to my fingers, that you can tell that it's thicker than a standard hinge by far. It's precisely 190 thousandths thick, so that makes it classified as a heavyweight hinge. So the BB0168 means it's ball bearing, steel base material, heavyweight leaf thickness, 5x4.5. And on a hinge like this, the first dimension of the size is always the height. So this would be 5 inches high, okay, and 4.5 inches wide when laid open. It's a security pin hinge, or NRP. You can see that in the barrel there, there's a set screw. And that set screw is operated with an Allen key, okay? So if you were to remove the pin, which you could do from using a small nail or something to drive the pin out, you would loosen this first, because in that pin there's likely a groove cut or a slot that when you tighten the NRP pin, it fits into that groove so that you can't, so the pin can't be driven out. That's the principle of that. Appropriate for use on exterior doors that swing out. If you have an exterior door that is an outswing, you're going to want an NRP, a non-removable pin hinge. Okay, completely template pattern for a 5-inch tall hinge, and there's a link below this video to the template, which shows everything important dimensionally about it, in terms of screw hole location, etc. And the template also shows. It's kind of it's a universal hinge in the sense that it's for a 5-inch by 4.5 or a 5x5. Okay, that'd be typical. The hinge is what's considered a full mortise hinge, and a full mortise hinge basically means that you can see from the swag on the hinge leaves there that when the hinge is closed, it's in. Thank goodness it wasn't a dozen eggs. You can see that when the hinge is closed, it's intended to be mortised to the edge of the door and frame. And as a result of that, this ends up being the most common sort of hinge that you're going to see on steel doors, on wood doors that would be standard in their size and material, but are probably going to get a heavy amount of use. Okay. I want to clarify something that I said earlier. I said earlier that this hinge was 190 thousandths thick. It's not. It's 180 thousandths thick when you measure that. So it's basically pushing 3/16, 1.875. So it's almost 3/16 of an inch thick, which is significantly thicker than a standard hinge, which is 134 thousandths, which is just heavy on 1/8 of an inch. So that's why I've been stammering. I wanted to confirm that. So 180 thousandths thick, very typical for this hinge. Also, being heavyweight, it's going to have 4 ball bearing packets, which is more than a standard hinge would have. A standard hinge would have only 2. So you're going to see this on doors that have an expected high volume amount of use. A typical hollow metal door and frame could certainly be a 5-inch tall hinge, because there's just simply more of the hinge compared to a 4.5-inch hinge that would be doing the job. The fact that it's thicker is always a, an indication that something's going to get a lot more use, which means that you're going to have more bearing packets. And if you look at video, or if you just notice hinges that might be plain bearing, the wear pattern is always quite significant on a door when it's high volume use and the hinge is really not up to the task. Wear pattern between the two knuckles, because that's where the grinding of the two pieces of metal are on each other, and that's very typical for a heavyweight hinge like this. This is shown to you in the satin chrome finish, and it is available in several. It's stocked in satin chrome finish. So this hinge is available in different finishes, but stocked in satin chrome. Boston Architectural Hinge is also going to have this at a stainless steel, which would be a BB0169, I believe, something like that. Stainless steel is a good quality product for exterior use when you need something that's not really going to fatigue from rust, that sort of situation. Because this is a steel-based hinge. That's made of steel. That's a magnet, and this is steel. Good quality product. Boston Architectural Hinge sells a lot of stuff: closers, hinges, continuous hinges. They are distributors of Dorma as well, and good quality customer service. I like selling their product, and I think that customers can be quite comfortable purchasing their material. Good quality stuff. If you have any questions on the Boston Architectural Hinge BB0168-NRP 5x4.5 full mortise ball bearing heavyweight hinge, or any other BAHCO product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.